What if there was one event so powerful that it didn't just change the course of history, but still has the potential to change your life today? It might sound like something out of a legend or a movie, but this is real. The event I'm talking about is the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Could this be the greatest miracle recorded in the Bible? And more importantly, why does it matter to us today in our modern world filled with technology, science, and endless distractions? In this video, we're diving deep into why the resurrection is not just another Bible story, but a transformative event that continues to impact millions of lives. But before we dive into this life-changing topic, make sure to subscribe to City on a Mountain, your home for exploring faith, uncovering the wisdom of the Bible, and answering the big questions of life. Let's get started. The greatest miracle of all time, the resurrection. Of all the miracles mentioned in the Bible, think of parting the Red Sea, feeding the 5,000, healing the blind. Why is the resurrection considered the greatest? It's because the resurrection isn't just about Jesus defeating death. It's about something much bigger. Think about this. Jesus, who claimed to be the Son of God, was publicly executed in one of the most brutal ways possible, crucifixion. He was buried in a tomb, sealed off by a large stone and guarded by Roman soldiers. Yet 3 days later, he walked out of that tomb alive. This event is not just about someone coming back to life. It's about proving that Jesus was exactly who he said he was, God in the flesh, the Savior of humanity. Without the resurrection, Jesus' teachings could have easily been dismissed as just another set of moral lessons or a nice philosophy. But the resurrection changes everything. It's the moment that confirmed his identity and validated every claim he made. And because of this event, Christianity was born. It's no exaggeration to say that without the resurrection, the message of Jesus would have faded into history like countless other religious movements. But because of it, his message spread across the world and continues to inspire billions today. Why the resurrection still matters today. You might be thinking, okay, that's great, but what does something that happened over 2,000 years ago have to do with my life right now? That's a fair question. The resurrection might feel like a distant event, something that belongs to the past, but the truth is, it's deeply relevant to us today. Here's why. Hope in the midst of struggles. Let's face it, life is hard. We all go through times of pain, loss, and uncertainty, whether it's the loss of a loved one, dealing with failure, or even just the stress of everyday life. We've all experienced moments where it feels like the world is falling apart. The resurrection gives us hope in these moments. It shows us that even in the darkest times, there is a possibility for new life, for renewal. Just as Jesus rose from the dead, we too can rise from our struggles. It's a reminder that nothing is beyond God's power to redeem, no matter how hopeless it might seem. A new understanding of life and death. One of the biggest fears humans have is death. It's the ultimate unknown, and for many, it's something to be feared. The resurrection completely changes how we see death. Instead of being the end, it becomes a transition into something far greater. This changes how we live today. Instead of living in fear, we can live with purpose, knowing that our lives have eternal significance. The resurrection assures us that death is not the end of the story. Empowering faith in everyday life. The resurrection isn't just a promise for the afterlife. It empowers how we live today. When you believe that Jesus overcame death, it gives you the courage to face the challenges in your own life. Maybe you're struggling with doubt, battling anxiety, or feeling like you don't have a purpose. The resurrection reminds you that God's power is greater than any circumstance. If He can defeat death, He can surely help you overcome whatever you're going through. It gives you the strength to keep moving forward, even when things seem impossible. The historical and spiritual significance of the resurrection. Now, you might be wondering, is there any reason to believe that the resurrection really happened? That's a great question. While faith is an essential part of believing in miracles, there are several compelling reasons, both historical and spiritual, to believe in the reality of the resurrection. The empty tomb. First, the fact that Jesus' tomb was found empty is widely accepted, even by skeptics. The tomb was sealed, guarded by Roman soldiers, and yet, on the third day, it was found open, with no body inside. Critics of Christianity at the time couldn't explain it. If Jesus' body had been stolen or moved, those who opposed Him could have easily produced it to discredit the claims of His resurrection. But they couldn't because the tomb was empty. Eyewitness testimonies. The Gospels record multiple accounts of people who saw Jesus alive after His death. He appeared to Mary Magdalene, to His disciples, and even to a crowd of over 500 people at once. These appearances weren't just hallucinations or wishful thinking, they were real encounters. And here's something to consider. Many of these witnesses were still alive when the accounts were written, meaning anyone could have gone to verify or challenge their stories, yet their testimonies remained intact. The disciples' transformation. One of the most compelling pieces of evidence is the transformation of Jesus' disciples. Before the resurrection, they were terrified, hiding in fear for their lives. But after they saw the risen Jesus, they became bold, fearless preachers of the gospel. They went from hiding to openly proclaiming Jesus' message, even when it meant facing imprisonment, torture, and death. Something extraordinary must have happened to give them this kind of courage. The personal impact. What does it mean for you? Now, let's make this personal. What does the resurrection mean for you? A second chance for anyone. The resurrection is a story of new beginnings. Just as Jesus rose from the dead, you too can experience a fresh start. Maybe you feel like you've made too many mistakes, or you're stuck in a situation you can't get out of. The message of the resurrection is that no matter how far you've fallen, there's always hope for redemption. You can leave the past behind and start again. This isn't just about turning over a new leaf. It's about a total transformation from the inside out. You can rise from your failures, your past, and your regrets into a new life filled with purpose and meaning. Living with purpose and courage, the resurrection gives us a reason to live with boldness. When you know that death isn't the end, it changes how you approach life. You're free to live with purpose, to love others fearlessly, and to serve without expecting anything in return. The knowledge that God has a plan for you, both in this life and the next, gives you the courage to take risks, to dream big, and to make a difference. The resurrection empowers you to live fully, knowing that God is with you every step of the way. An eternal perspective. Finally, the resurrection changes how we see the future. It gives us an eternal perspective. Life on earth isn't all there is. Knowing that there is life beyond death gives us hope and peace in the face of uncertainty. It reminds us that the struggles of this world are temporary, and that what really matters is our relationship with God and how we live our lives in light of eternity. This perspective brings joy, peace, and purpose into everything we do. The resurrection of Jesus is more than just a story from history. It's a miracle that still has the power to change lives today. It's about hope, renewal, and the promise of something greater than we can imagine. So, what does the resurrection mean for you? Chat, if this video has inspired you, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to City on a Mountain for more content exploring faith, the Bible, and life's biggest questions. And don't forget to click the bell icon so you never miss an update. Thank you for watching, and remember, the greatest miracle isn't just something that happened. It's something that can still happen in your life today.